What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a bombshell video. Chelsea have sacked their Champions League winning manager Thomas Tuchel. I think Chelsea are an absolute joke and this is very worrying for especially Chelsea fans because the new owner Todd Boehly looks like he might want to get too involved with Chelsea FC. It looks like he thinks he's playing football manager with Chelsea. He got rid of Petr Cech, who was very important at Chelsea. He got rid of Granovskaya. I think she was responsible for a lot of the transfers, and he basically made Thomas Tuchel as the Chelsea sporting director. And Thomas Tuchel didn't want to deal with transfers. He wanted to coach, to manage the team. And there the Chelsea statement is very damning, saying that the new ownership group reaches 100 days since they took over the club. The new owners believe it is the right time to make this transition and to part ways with Thomas Tuchel, who is one of the most successful and one of the best managers in Chelsea's history. Remember, Chelsea FC are a new club when it comes to the European elite. They just arrived on the scene after Abramovich took over, but it looks like the new owner Todd Boehly is not that different from Abramovich, because under Abramovich the average Chelsea manager lasted around 500 days. Thomas Tuchel lasted 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year, which is an absolutely staggeringly short amount when it comes to a managerial appointment. And yeah, I mean, some Chelsea fans even said that Thomas Tuchel is coming for Jurgen Klopp's legacy. Now he's out of the door, and if Leipzig have a smart and quick decision making, they will appoint Thomas Tuchel straight away, because Leipzig also sacked their manager. But I think getting rid of the two people at Chelsea who were taking care of the day-to-day running of the club, Petr Cech and Granovskaya, I think that's very bad decision making from Todd Boehly, the new manager. And Boehly is still acting as sporting director, having moved on director Granovskaya and chairman Bruce Buck and technical and performance advisor Petr Cech. I forgot to mention Bruce Buck as well. So basically the new owner is acting as the director of football, having never before worked in football, which I think is really a disgraceful running of the club. You should be just the Chelsea owner, not the sporting director, making day-to-day decisions of how to run a football club, when in fact you know absolutely nothing about running a football club. And I also don't understand how you can back a manager this much in the transfer window. Chelsea spent £300 million on new players, and you just sack him 1 week after the transfer deadline they slammed shut. This is absolutely mind-blowing. Was this a long-term plan for Chelsea? I don't believe so. This was a knee-jerk reaction after, you know, losing to Southampton in the Premier League, losing to Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League, even though the Chelsea statement makes it out that it's not a knee-jerk decision and it's not a reactionary decision, and they were thinking about sacking Thomas Tuchel a long time ago. Then why do you back Thomas Tuchel with £300 million worth of players if you are planning to sack him anyway? I just don't understand. These players were signed with a view to play in a 5 at the back formation. What if the new manager comes in, and by the way, 3 managers are on the shortlist: Graham Potter, Zinedine Zidane and Mauricio Pochettino. If you are in charge of Chelsea, who do you appoint? I think Graham Potter would be the most sensible appointment, because he's doing so well with Brighton. They are playing some lovely football, and on a very limited budget Brighton are doing amazing things in the past 2 or 3 years under Graham Potter. But can he withstand the pressure that it comes at Chelsea? At Chelsea you are scrutinized. Every single of your press conference is shown on a lot of televisions across the world, and every single sentence that you say will be scrutinized and dissected and reacted to. And Graham Potter has never been under that much spotlight, under that much pressure. Can he handle it? The only way to find out is if Chelsea appoint him, because at the moment I don't see any other top club losing their manager anytime soon. But if Chelsea want to play with the same formation, then Graham Potter is the most sensible solution, because Brighton also play with a 5 at the back formation. And Chelsea signed Koulibaly, they signed Fofana, they signed Dennis Zakaria. Those are 3 players who can all play as a centre-back. And also, I feel a little bit sorry for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's a multimillionaire, so not too sorry, but a little bit sorry, because he was talking about he's looking forward to working with Thomas Tuchel once again after him being the manager of Aubameyang at Dortmund. And then 59 minutes later he's sacked. I mean, Aubameyang played 1 game, 59 minutes under Thomas Tuchel, and then Chelsea sack him. Absolutely incredible, scandalous decision. And this just shows that at Chelsea, no change. They are still that trigger-happy club that they were under Abramovich. They are very, very happy to just sack their manager whenever there is a little bit of trouble, a little bit of, bad form, and you are out of the door. Even if you have won the Champions League with Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea reached 2 cup finals last season. They reached 3rd place in the Premier League, the highest that they could finish at, because Liverpool and Man City were just well clear of everybody else. And that's, I think, apart from winning the cup finals, that's as well as Chelsea could have done last season. So Thomas Tuchel got the maximum out of Chelsea's season last season, partly, of course, winning 2 penalty shootouts, but penalty shootouts are a lottery. And yet, he just 6 games into the season, he finds himself sacked. And I mean, Chelsea are just 5 points off the top of the Premier League, as you can see here on the bottom of your screen. Arsenal on 15 points are top of the league, and Chelsea are on 10 points. I mean, Chelsea are above Liverpool, and they still sack their manager. Absolutely incredible decision, and I don't agree with this. If they seriously think that Graham Potter or Pochettino or even Zidane are a better fit for Chelsea right now than Thomas Tuchel, then they are deluded. I don't think Graham Potter is a better manager than Thomas Tuchel. And I mean, Thomas Tuchel has a better win ratio than Antonio Conte at Tottenham. As you can see, he has a 63% win ratio. Out of 100 games, he got 2.08 points per game, which is a solid, always qualifies for the Champions League points per game ratio. He also scored 1.6 goals per game. What is worrying is that Thomas Tuchel has been in charge for 100 matches, and he was in charge for 1.5 years, so not 1 year, but 1.5 years. But that's on average, the average duration that the Chelsea manager stays in a Chelsea job. So what is worrying is that in the first 50 games, Thomas Tuchel conceded, I think, like 24 goals in the first 50 games, and then in the last 50 games in charge of Chelsea, he conceded 53 goals. I read that statistic yesterday or 2 days ago. So that is very damning, that something happened in the structure of the Chelsea's defense, and I'm not sure if it's Thomas Tuchel's coaching or the players just fell off when it comes to the team structure and defending, and the defenders' form fell off. But to concede twice as many goals in the last 50 games is hugely worrying and concerning. And I'm not saying that Thomas Tuchel has been, in great form and Chelsea have been flying, but I'm saying that some of the players were as responsible for Chelsea's bad results as Thomas Tuchel. But something wasn't right, because Thomas Tuchel was a little bit more agitated during the press conferences. He was a little bit more on edge, and he wasn't his calm, usual self. So something clearly bugged him in the background. So while recording this video, it has been revealed that Graham Potter has been given permission to speak with Chelsea. Brighton have given permission to Graham Potter to speak with Chelsea. So it looks like Chelsea's main target to replace Todd Bowley with is Graham Potter. Let me know, do you think he's good enough to manage a big club like Chelsea? We will only find out once he becomes Chelsea manager, but I think it's very, very risky to sack Thomas Tuchel, a proven winner who, as I said and I showed you, he has a very good win ratio as Chelsea manager, and he already proves to you that he can do it on the biggest stage. He has beaten Pep Guardiola in a Champions League final. Not many managers are capable of doing that. He has been the man to bring Chelsea the Holy Grail, the Champions League, for the second time in their history. But you know what happened with Dominic Di Matteo, a Chelsea legend as a player. He won the Champions League, and a few months later Roman Abramovich sacked Domenico Di Matteo, like he didn't do that incredible Champions League miracle in the home of Bayern Munich to win Champions League. It was the stuff of dreams. But Thomas Tuchel did the same thing. He has won the Champions League with Chelsea, and now he has lost his job. So I wouldn't want to become a Premier League manager at Chelsea, because at any given week, if you suffer a couple of defeats, you could get sacked. So it's an incredibly tough and risky job. And also you have to take it into account that when Chelsea was faced with administration and the owners' frozen assets, you know, Roman Abramovich was pushed out of the door, and there was a point where Thomas Tuchel was the man who kept Chelsea alive, who kept Chelsea afloat, because Chelsea wasn't able to sell tickets, they weren't even able to sell merchandise. It looked like at some point he had to, you know, drive the bus himself, because Chelsea couldn't afford to go by plane to Champions League games. But Thomas Tuchel never once wanted to leave Chelsea. He always stood up, and I really admired what Thomas Tuchel did during that period. So for Chelsea to thank him like this, to sack him just a few months after that, is really a disgraceful decision in my opinion. Of course you can disagree with me in the comments below, but at the moment this is how I feel really. And Jamie Carragher said that he fears for Graham Potter, and if he takes over at Chelsea, and Mauricio Pochettino would be his preferred choice. I don't think many Chelsea fans are too keen for Pochettino, because he has been at Tottenham for so long, and I don't consider Pochettino to be a particularly great manager. He's certainly not as good as Thomas Tuchel, but very few managers are. I think Thomas Tuchel was just a level below Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. I rate him very, very highly. This is what Carragher said: it was a shock because I thought the new regime at Chelsea would be different to Abramovich. I said a few days ago, if Abramovich was still in charge, you would fear for Thomas Tuchel because of what happened in the past with Mourinho, with Conte, with Carlo Ancelotti, lots of great managers. But I did feel as if it might have been a different type of regime with more patience. So it's a huge shock that still, new regime, same old Chelsea, they still sack their manager at the first sign of trouble. It hasn't been a great start, we get that, but Chelsea just felt like a team who needed the transfer window to end, get the squad that they wanted, and then give a top quality manager a chance to put it right. Certainly over the next few weeks or months, to put some sort of team together. I mean, this Chelsea team, like half of them have been just bought in the transfer market, so why not give a world-class manager to Thomas Tuchel to work his magic on the training pitch? Why do you pay a manager other than to make a team out of a bunch of individuals that you bought together during the transfer window? I mean, Chelsea invested £273 million, which is a Premier League record, in one transfer window to revamp their squad. We are 6 games into the season. He bought Aubameyang, who made his debut last night, Fofana, who played 2 games, So the idea that this team has been put together with a lot of money spent, I understand that, the pressure comes with that, and Thomas Tuchel will understand that. He was almost like a director of football a lot of through the summer as well. He was heavily involved in bringing the players in, so he should have been given more time, certainly, even just the next 3 games, which takes them up to the international break. I don't know what the rush was right now. I think they should have waited to see if in the next 3 games there could have been a slight turnaround, an upturn in performances and results. It was a big shock because I do think it's a new Chelsea team, and the guy who has put it together, this is not the director of football, this is the manager who has put this squad together with the new owner. So he should have been given a lot more time to get this team working on the football pitch. But no, Chelsea have still no patience, and he was shown at the door. Absolutely ludicrous decision by the Chelsea board or the new owner or whoever made this decision. Chelsea are a very ruthless club, and I'm not sure Graham Potter is the right fit. Chelsea are saying they want to do things differently in the future in terms of having a coach in charge rather than a manager, or that they do things behind the scenes differently. But if I was Potter, I would find that very hard to believe. They have just got rid of a manager 6 games into the season. Of course, it's a huge step up in his career, and Chelsea are still one of the top clubs. They are still world champions right now. But you fear for Potter that he will be in the same boat as every other Chelsea manager has for the last 10 to 20 years. Sooner or later he will move on from Brighton because he has done a brilliant job there. Everyone loves the football Brighton plays. I don't think he can turn this opportunity down, but I wouldn't be falling for Chelsea are going to do things differently in the future. If I was a Chelsea fan, you asked me who I would like to manage my club, I would go for Pochettino. That's what Carragher said. I would go from Graham Potter, in my opinion, now that Tuchel is gone, but I wouldn't have sacked Tuchel in the first place. That's my opinion, but let me know what is yours in the comments below. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this, have a nice day, see you later, goodbye.